9x plus 12y. But I'll bring it down to 3 questions or 2 questions at a time, because I'm interested that you spend the time thinking about the questions. There's procedural fluency and then there's conceptual understanding, and they're both knowledge, and it's very important to understand what you're doing, and you'll be, by going slowly and enjoying the questions, you'll be learning. That's just like I'm doing and we're all doing now. Equals -4, 3x minus 12y equals 12. Okay, elimination by addition gives me 12x equals 8. Now x equals, now before I move forward, I must resist the temptation to start dividing the 12 into the 8. Resist the temptation. If you're doing algebra properly, every single time you get to an equation, you're asking yourself, is there any cancelling? Oh, there's that word. Is there any in this case, can I divide out a factor? Okay, cancel. I know I said I wouldn't use the word cancel, but can I use division to cancel a factor? And of course 4 goes into both of these. So 4 into that is 3x, and 4 into that. So you're kind of saying, hang on, you're kind of saying, well, I know 4 goes into both of them, so why hang about? Why leave it there? Why not get that done now? Okay? Other methodology is to leave it sit there until you have to reduce to simplest terms your fraction, and some people forget. So they would have got 8 over 12, and then they might have just left it like that. Well, if you take out the unwelcome extra factor on both sides, the 4, early on, you've dealt with it, and you're not going to forget about it later. And you should take it out as soon as you can. So it's best practice to say, hold on a second. They both contain 4. They both contain a highest common factor. It's not 1. They have a highest common factor. Let's get rid of it. 3x equals 2. Now when you say, once you've done that highest common factor elimination via division, then you can rest assured that's already in simplest terms, because you've done your work up front. Now, it's probably time I showed you how to do this on a calculator now, because that's a mess. It will go in. Okay, this becomes a substitution of x here. Well, it's not too bad, but there is a way of doing it on the calculator now. But of course you need a lot of skill on the calculator to make y the subject, and you need to know a lot of algebra we haven't done yet. So we'll actually keep going with what we know. But I will just say later on, whenever you get a fraction here, especially a non-unit fraction, meaning the both of these are tricky numbers. This isn't 1. A unit fraction, 1 over 7. 1 over 11. Negative unit fraction, negative 1 over 9. If it's not a unit fraction or a negative unit fraction, and I don't know whether we'll agree to just call that a unit fraction as well. We'll have to come up with a deal. Then there is a method using your calculator that we can use later. But you have to do algebra and calculator, and you don't have enough skill yet. But I can tell you it's not the end of the world. So we're going to put the 2/3 in here. But the other thing I'll say is maybe we'll skip the verification, because if we've done our work right, there's no need for verification. Because there's a lot of work getting involved here now. 2/3. Here. 9 times 2/3 is the x value, plus 12y equals -4. 3 into 9 is a cancellation you're allowed to do. That's a multiplicative property, and it is not multiplying the formula by 3. It's just taking this term and dividing into 3. So do not turn that into 36y and that into -12. It's a common mistake. You're not multiplying by 3, you're just dividing, you're just using fractions to turn this into 6. I'll do it again. 9 times 2/3. 3 into 9 goes 3 times, and you have 3 2's. Nothing to do with multiplying across the formula. So that's different. Multiplying across the equation, multiplying across the equals, multiplying through. Nothing to do with it. Don't go there. Okay? I'm going to show you a trick because we're kind of getting towards the end of the lesson. There is another highest common factor here that I can see. So I'll take it out now. The 2. Okay? So it's good practice. Spot that. You don't have to, but it should be done technically. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Okay? That's really at high level what's expected. Now the 6y wants to be any zone, so we'll move to 3. 6y equals, oh what a mess, equals -5. Y equals -5/6. I'm going to verify in my head, because, so 3 of them, 3's cancel, will be 2. Minus 12 of them, the minus by minus will turn into plus. The 6 will go into 12 2 times, will be 10. And that's indeed equal to 12. And maybe what I just did there would be kind of the way you would do your verification. Once you end up coming out, graduating, getting ready for your junior cert exam at the end of 3rd year. But for now, I think you're still write it out the long way. But you can sort of see the best of both worlds there. So question 17. Bit of a stinker, to be honest, question-wise, like 2/3 and -5/6, and you might be thinking you got it wrong. You know, this can't be right. This is way too hard, and I don't understand that. And that's another skill too, to have the conviction to say no, that's fine. This is fine. I haven't made a mistake. This is what the maths is telling me, and to have the conviction to keep going and have the confidence to keep going. Because if you got that right, really, I'll be looking through your homeworks now and seeing if you got that right, and if you did, and if you didn't, if you got that right before you saw this video, that's incredible work, really incredible work. Okay, question 18. Last one now. 4x plus 7y is indeed equated to 3 and 6x minus 7y equals 4.5. Well, look at that, 4.5. Well, let's get rid of that 4.5. We left it there the last time, but this time there's no other half to deal with it. So it makes sense to double across this formula, times 2 this formula, and only then we'll take stock and we'll think about how we're going to advance from there. No, that won't work, because that would mean times 2 both of them then. Okay, now I have to do a bit of thinking. By times 2 both of them, I'll keep the balance between these ready so they can eliminate by addition. Okay? So we're getting into pretty advanced stuff now. But I've kept that balance, because they were ready to cancel, but that was annoying, so I times 2 both of them. Now 4.5 by 2 is 9. That was the whole plan of doubling. Once you had a fraction here, mixed number with a half, if it was a mixed number with a 7, you'd multiply it by 7 to clear the fraction. Okay, it's only got one effective denominator. Essentially this is 9/2. So I'm going to add 20x equals 15. Now I have a HCF situation, highest common factor situation, divide across by 5. Okay, x is 3/4. Now come back to where we were here. Don't ever use calculated equations when you can use original equations. We're probably not going to bother verifying. Don't have to if we don't make a mistake, because that's a mess. And if we are going to verify with this, we can use this, which is its equivalent. Okay, so we're going to him to put x in. 4 times 3/4 has them cancel. plus 7 times y equals 3. Now the 3's cancel, so y is 0. That was pretty tricky now. 3's cancel, they're on either side, so that 3 is gone. Now if 7y equals 0, and if 7y equals 0, then y equals 0 over 7. Now that you know that you're not allowed to divide by 0, and this might frighten you for a second, but this is not 7 over 0, this is 0 over 7. And it's perfectly valid, it just happens to be 0. Okay. Now that might make things easy here, but remember we're not going there, we're going here for verification. So we have an x and a y. Now this step is optional, but it's a good idea. And we'll finish up with a flurry. So at 3/4 and 0. 3/4, 12 times 3/4. 4 into 12 is 3, that's 9. Minus nothing. 9 equals 9, it's verified already. Okay, 3/4 and 0. Now that's the end of today's video. Okay, started off really easy, things got a bit messy. From here, 16, 17, 18 were challenging, but there are those of you who need that challenge. Okay? Those of you who couldn't do them, you just get some work done and do your half hour, an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the weekend, hand in your homework. And don't lose sleep over it. These questions are difficult. I'll put the YouTube videos up on the web page, and I'll add these to the homework so you can have a go at it again. Thank you.